Hey, welcome everyone. Tom here from Park Avenue Trading, your chief dealer, keeping you sane in insane markets. And it is Sunday at 8:49 in the morning on March 30th, 2025 for the weekly update. And we got a lot of stuff that we got to pay attention to. Like last week was very, very difficult trading the crosses, especially sterling yen. It was giving conflicting signals constantly. Whereas it would give a buy and then fail, and then give a sell and then fail. And then I find out because I don't pay attention to news. I never watch news. I just watch price. This time I should have been paying attention to like geopolitical news. And what came out was that the French and the English have decided that, let me get my coffee over here. The French and the English have decided that they may potentially add troops to the Ukraine war effort. Now, here's the issue with that. Would the Russians killing French and English troops constitute, a trigger of Article 5, which means, NATO is then now at war with Russia instead of just the Ukraine/Russian conflict? I sure hope they rethink this because this is leading to something far, far potentially worse. The Russians are not going to stand for it. They are a nuclear power. They have hypersonic missiles. It's so stupid. This is just totally ridiculous. But it hasn't been confirmed that they're going to do it, but they're threatening to do it. Now, I think there's a couple of things that, could happen. I think if the French actually and the English actually decide to do this, then the United States will pull out of NATO. And, therefore, if the Europeans want to go to full out, war with Russia, good luck. U.S. is not going to be involved, and they're basically going to go kind of like Switzerland neutral, in my opinion. There's a huge history to this. If you read back on it, it's a mess there. It really is a mess, and I have to say the U.S. was part of this. They actually started this crap back in like 2012, 2013, and you can go read it yourself. But anyway, so let's get on to the analysis. So with the geopolitical news in the background, we got to really pay attention because obviously dollar yen is a risk on currency. So whenever there's geopolitical strife in the world, people buy the yen. Now, what was odd was that if we go to euro yen really hasn't moved. This is what was confusing me because euro yen was staying within these trend lines. It hasn't moved. So that's what was getting me suspect of my sterling yen short. I was like, well, euro yen's not breaking down. If I would have seen, euro yen breaking down just as, sterling yen was breaking down. So in other words, we come down and went boom, boom, we break down heading towards that low right here. I would have been much more confident and more comfortable staying short sterling yen, but it just wasn't happening. And it's odd is that the sterling yen reacted the way it did, and the euro yen didn't. So something's up. Maybe it's a false flag. Maybe they're going to back out of this whole thing. So that's what we have to keep on our mindset this week. So obviously, pay attention to the daily analysis because I'll be giving the important points for the day. But anyway, let's get into dollar yen. Okay, dollar yen right now, we broke the resistance line up here. We had resistance at 151.50. We didn't quite make it. It went to 151.20 before it fell back into the triangle. Now, this is a 6-hour chart. So obviously on the daily, it did not close above it. So we had 6 hours and then 6 hours of the queen saying, okay, and then the next 6 hour down, pushed back down into the triangle. This could have been when the news broke about the French and the British thinking of adding troops. So that could have been the point. But right now we're still inside the triangle. Now a break of this triangle will find some support at 149.17. If you're using the 3 steps book, you'd say, well, we have a down close here, so really this breakout could come down to here and fail and come back up into the triangle again, where we could be looking for another sale level. But there is support at 149.17. A break of that, a sustained break of that, is opening up 147.25. So break of that is breaking us back down. Now, the only way we're going to show strength is we get back above this 150.80, and then we can get above the 151.51. Then we have resistance at 152.20, 153.38. So we got a lot of wood to chop for dollar yen to continue in an upward trajectory. Let's go over to good old sterling dollar. Okay, sterling dollar. It's been sitting in between 130.17 and 128, 128.60, 128.70 has been sitting right through these levels right here. A break of 128.20. This is the main warning level, okay? This level right there is the main warning level. A break of 127.50 is opening up to 125.63. Something, would have to happen for that to occur. Perhaps the British entering troops into the Ukraine, where it would be, get out of the cable, get into the yen, and creating a huge movement downward in sterling yen. But the warning level is the 127.20 for the week, so just mark that down. And if we get there, around there, we'll be talking about it for sure. So let's get on over to gold sterling yen. Here's the sterling yen. All right, we had resistance at 196.97. Market couldn't quite get there, went to 196 the figure-ish, and then turned down and broke the support line. Now, I have to readjust this support line. I probably can come down from this low across this low to get a better angle on things. So let's do that. 6-hour chart. Come off this demand point, coming through this demand point, and we're sitting right on the support line. Okay, so again, a break of this line, if we're using the 3 steps book idea behind it, we have a down close on this 6 hours. So most likely the marketplace could come down a little bit to maybe 193-ish and then spike back up to the resistance line where we look for a sale again. Now, the main points we have on the week are the 190.22 and the 196.97. That's all we got really close by. Now, I would have to say that this would be a warning. Right here, a break of the 191.97 on the week would be a warning, saying we're going down to the 190.28 and potentially even back to that low at 187.58. I am not convinced of anything right now. I'm really not convinced. So I'm just going to wait for the price action to open up today. I don't really trade on Sundays. I just watch the price action and if I see something really good, I might take it, but generally I try to stay out of it on Sunday, try to get some rest for the whole week, because as you know, it's a long week. So let's go over to good old euro yen. This is what we were talking about before. Euro yen didn't break out of the triangle, so something was up. There must be conflicting market ideas, obviously, because in sterling yen was so whippy, and euro yen really didn't do anything. So I think this is going to be the key. If euro yen breaks down, you go look for further losses in sterling against the yen. But if euro yen stays stable, it's going to be a tough call for sterling yen as well. So right now, as it stands, we have resistance right now at 163.25, 163.50 up here. We have support at 161.79. Main support for the week right now is 161.30. A break of that is trading us down to 159.89 on the week. And again, this is, just come back for the weekly, for the daily analysis. We'll give you the points on the day as they develop. And it's going to be I think it's going to be a pretty challenging week. We're going to have some obstacles, but we're definitely going to be able to overcome them. So remember, always head on over to Park Avenue Trading, get yourself a free ebook. And remember, always, as a short-term trader, enjoy the party, but dance near the door. Cheers.